Okay. Welcome to the May 8th, 2012 edition of Nuked Radio. This is Jules, and I'm wondering, is Christina there?
I'm here, but I'm just hearing the intro music right now.
Well, that's kind of odd. Are you hearing that through your headset?
Yeah, and it's loud.
Wow. Well, I'm sorry. I don't know. Let's, well, with us today, we have a guest. We have NibiruMagick from YouTube.
Hi,
Good
how
afternoon.
are you?
Good. How about you?
Good.
Now, are you hearing two streams, NibiruMagick?
But just call me Magic, that's fine.
Okay.
It's kind of, hi.
Hi. Yeah, warp of timeage. Well, I don't know, Christina. Can you talk or no?
Yeah. I hear our conversation going on in the background, like from 10 seconds ago. So I'll just go over the stuff I have pulled up and try to ignore it. I had another article that came out this weekend, and I dropped a link into chat on End the Lie. It's called What Will Collapse First, the Economy or the Spent Fuel Pool? So check it out and share it around. It goes into a little bit more detail about what would happen with the spent fuel pool of Reactor 4 if the integrity of the pool is compromised or if the building collapses, and the fallout from that, where other sources of spent fuel on site would possibly catch fire or start fissioning, creating a type of chain reaction. So check that article out. And also I wanted to share with you guys, Jules sent me some information yesterday. We have 5,000 people who have hit Fukushima facts just in the last month from the United States. We have also had people checking us out from Canada, the UK, Australia, the Netherlands, New Zealand, Japan, Hong Kong, Germany, Spain, France, Belgium, Sweden, South Africa, Costa Rica, Mexico, Thailand, Portugal, Iceland, Ireland, Brazil, Slovenia, Switzerland, Denmark, Philippines, Austria, Norway, Poland, Croatia, and then there's like 30 more.
Yeah, wasn't it like 79 countries? Yeah, it was amazing.
And that's from you guys sharing stuff.
Yes,
so
thank you.
Keep it up. Well, there's been a few interesting stories that have come out in the past few days on any news. They continue to talk about Reactor 4 and the building. And one of the articles from this morning talks about the heat or lack of walls decreasing the strength of number 4 reactor building. We've not included these points in our assessment, even though it exists. And Magic and I were talking about this before we went on air this morning. They're actually using the level of the water to judge how square the building is.
Now, on Fukushima Diary, they have a story on today, possible uneven settlement of Reactor 4, where a reporter, a freelance journalist, was asked the Nuclear Industrial Agency about the state of Reactor number 4 in their press conference. And basically, about the state of Reactor 4, has anyone surveyed the building? And then, like tilt? Yes, tilt and other points. We surveyed the water level on spent fuel pool number 4 and confirmed it's not leaning. Has anyone conducted soil survey around the reactor building? No, I don't think so. Nobody surveyed the outside of the building. They're all doing it on the level of the fuel pool or the water in the tank. And I've seen reports where the water's leaking out of the tank into the basement, and they're literally pumping it up back to the top of the tank faster than it's actually leaking.
Was talking about that the other day.
That is not structurally sound at all.
Well, believe it or not, there have been people arguing that with us in like email and comment sections to articles about, you know, Christina and I were talking about this the other night, how people are stating that the structural integrity of Reactor 4 being sensationalized, or the lack of structural integrity is being sensationalized. And I truly don't believe that that is the case. I mean, it's in a pretty precarious position. And even if there was a 1% chance that that thing could fall, wouldn't you be preparing? And why would you take that chance?
Yeah, well, they've already confirmed fuel rod assemblies are broken in spent fuel pool number 4, and there is loose fuel on the floor of that pool.
Here's another headline from yesterday. The Guardian asks, how likely is a catastrophe at Fukushima number 4? Plant near fault as large as the one that caused the 9.0 quake. Nuclear experts say that their biggest concern involves this reactor, which sustained severe structural damage. A report released in February by the Independent Investigation Committee on the Nuclear Accident called this pool the weakest link at Fukushima. Robert Alvarez, former senior policy advisor at the U.S. Department of Energy, said if an earthquake or other event were to cause this pool to drain, it could result in a catastrophic radiological fire involving nearly 10 times the amount of cesium-137. And then we've heard that could be 85 times the amount of cesium, and again, that's just one isotope.
Yeah, where there's like, what, 1,600 different isotopes?
Yeah, according to Helen Caldecott. There were also a number of earthquakes that hit Fukushima over the last 8 hours or so, a 4.8, a 4.5, a 4.2, a 4.7, and I thought I saw a 5.2 also.
Yeah, I saw this morning that there were quite a number of earthquakes that hit during the night.
Yeah, they'd been quiet there for a few days, too.
Mm-hmm. There was a big one in Mexico, too.
There you go. I've got a website just for the Japanese earthquakes. It's off the Japan Meteorological Agency.
Okay.
Let's see. 4.8 Fukushima, 4.5, 4.2, 3.5, 4.7, 4.2, 3.8.
Wow,
and that's just today.
That's all hitting around the plant?
Well, in the Fukushima prefecture area. So, yeah, close. And even the little jolts in that weakened pool, you know, it's already crumbling. And you got to think about number 3. They can't even get close to it. And what's all this little shaking doing to those severely damaged buildings? Yeah, they're doing pretty steady. Nothing big, you know, 3s and 4s, but it'll definitely rattle the windows. Already that time.
Well, when we come back, we're going to talk about sheltering in versus evacuation, just briefly, and then get on to some other news stories. And we want to get some background from Magic, too. Yeah, I've got an article, too, that I came across last night, rashes and hair loss caused by flight attendant uniforms, and something that we've discussed on here too is what kind of effect this might be having on people who fly a lot or work in the airline industry. Alaska Airlines flight attendants say their uniforms are causing rashes and hair loss. According to Seattle's King 5 News, the year-old uniforms may contain tributyl phosphate. The Association of Professional Flight Attendants said 10% of the airline's 2,800 attendants are suffering from itching, hair loss, and other adverse health reactions. One flight attendant told King 5 News, "I've never had a uniform like this. I broke out this week. I broke out on my back, then on my legs. I don't know what it is or whether or not it's the uniform, but I haven't had it until I flew 6 to 7 days in a row." In a statement to the station, Andy Schneider, Alaskan Airlines Vice President of In-Flight Services, said, "The safety of Alaska Airlines employees is paramount, and we've been working closely with our people and the 2 unions that represent them to resolve this issue. Numerous tests by 3 different labs have been unable to determine the cause of the physical reactions, which affected a limited number of our uniformed employees. While the vast majority of those affected are no longer having problems, we've provided 2 alternate uniforms to those who are. Alaska will work with the 2 employee work groups and unions affected to develop standards for sourcing, materials, and other manufacturing issues to make sure that any uniform our people wear are safe and comfortable." Nothing in this article mentions flying through fallout for the last 13 months, so I commented under it, and I'll drop a link in chat for you guys. Another story that really caught my attention, this was published May 7th, and Magic, I definitely want to get your take on this. Hundreds of dead dolphins and pelicans force massive beach closings in Peru. An unprecedented ordinance which has generated both speculation and alarm. Peru has closed all beaches north of Lima to the public. Health officials are taking the extraordinary step of closing the beaches after hundreds of dolphins' carcasses washed up on the shores of Peru, and the reason why continues to be a mystery. Peru's health ministry and Oceanographic Institute says 877 dolphins and 1,200 pelicans have been found dead on the beach since February, but their deaths don't appear to be related.
Well, they originally started saying that the dolphin deaths were due to sonar, high-frequency sonar used by the oil industry for, looking for oil. And then when the pelicans came up, all of a sudden, hey, stay off the beaches. So I can't say for sure what's going on down there, but something's definitely in the water off the coast of Peru, yeah.
About 2 months ago, Fukushima Diary had published a report or a test that was done on squid that were caught in the area, and there were actually beta rays being measured off the squid.
Yeah.
That was quite a while back, and looking at the ocean currents, it seemed kind of fast for it to be getting down there, but knowing as much as I do, and I don't know how you feel about this too, but I'm really horrified at how fast things are happening and some of these numbers that are coming out about contamination.
Where they had the intake clogged by those squid-like creatures, I forget the name of them, shins. Anyway, they clogged the intake to the reactor. They had shut the reactor down. Well, those creatures aren't normally in shallow water. They're usually in deep water. And so something's actually, had them move where they're not supposed to be, where they're clogging nuclear reactor intakes. So, yeah, something's definitely going on, and they're on the move. And I remember seeing a story about the record number of whales spotted off the coast of California, and they were trying to sell this piece as, oh, look, it could be hope, that the whale population is increasing. And I'm thinking, maybe the animals are getting out of the way.
Yeah, and they migrate from Baja to the northern coast every year around the middle of February. Because I've been down there when they have that going on, and we never got to go out on a boat and see the whales, but it is normal for that time of year when that would have been happening.
Yeah, but they were going on about the record number of them. They'd never seen so many whales.
Oh, I missed that story.
Yeah.
Wasn't there one like that not too long ago with dolphins also off the coast of California? I'm pretty sure I remember reading something. There were just thousands of dolphins. And all of a sudden, the dolphins felt some sort of rumbling, or I don't know, they were postulating, and they all headed out the other direction. But they said it was kind of odd, A, to see that many dolphins, and then B, for them to all take off, and they weren't really sure what was causing that.
Yeah, no telling. Something's going on.
Dr. Helen Caldicott also, there was a story posted on A News, I believe it was on Friday. Fukushima radiation will be reaching you quite soon on the U.S. West Coast. I don't think I'd be surfing. She's referring to the ocean contamination. They've never seen or contemplated anything like this. If it reaches you quite soon, I think it is in the ocean current and the fish swim thousands of miles. The EPA is not testing your fish caught on the West Coast, and you should be testing your fish routinely. I would be very cautious about, and I don't know how long it takes for the fish to get there, but it's been already a year. The fish will be radioactive, and I don't think I'd be surfing. Some good news that I found last night was that the state of Washington is going to be testing salmon, steelhead, and clams for Fukushima radiation, and they will continue until public concern abates.
Well, that is good news. But they were testing the fish off in the Gulf of Mexico after the BP oil disaster. They were just sniffing the shrimp, and now they've shut down shrimping indefinitely because of all the mutations going on in the Gulf of Mexico right now.
And the legs falling off the crustaceans.
Exactly, and all the big sores and stuff. And they're like, you know, they hundreds of thousands of or millions of gallons of Corexit. And what was that bacteria, that genetically altered bacteria they threw in there? It was Cynthia, that was designed to specifically eat the oil and die. So no telling what Pandora's box they opened there either. If you didn't know about that.
And you covered the BP oil disaster for a while.
Extensively, yes. Until they blocked out the news and declared it capped, and everybody walked away from it. But go ahead. Radio.
When we come back, we'll talk more about how Magic got started on YouTube. You're listening to Nuked Radio.
Real alternative radio. We are OrionTalkRadio.com.
And we are back with Nuked Radio. Now, my guest today, NibiruMagick from YouTube, he's been at this for a while. In fact, he was kind of watching and hanging out for about a year before he started making videos. The first video that he made on YouTube, he actually has up on his channel. How you got to where you are now, and it's awesome. And I definitely would like everybody to go there and watch it. Can you kind of tell us what was going through your mind when you made that video?
It was a video response to a political video that was going on and what was going on at the time. And I don't know. Wow, it's so long ago. What was I thinking when I made it? I was just kind of laying it all out there like I normally do.
And you went from having kind of a personal page to a news page, and anybody who has searched for Fukushima info has probably come across your site. And
yeah, I've had a couple million hits.
Really? That's excellent. And you've been putting out videos about Fukushima since pretty much the day it happened.
Yeah, I reported the days as it happened, and the daily reports you can walk through day by day as it happened, what happened and where, and that kind of thing. If you went back to my old videos.
When did you first realize how bad things were?
When I saw the reactor buildings start to explode.
Did you have any knowledge of the nuclear industry, or were you pro-nuke or anti-nuke?
Yeah, I've always been anti-nuke. It's a crime against humanity. It really is. I really didn't start learning about radioactive fallout or anything until Fukushima happened, really. I know the basics, you know.
Yeah, we've all taught ourselves quite a bit.
Exactly. But as far as, I'm no expert at all as far as nuclear energy and what it does and stuff. It's just the stuff I've learned over the last year. It's mind-boggling, really. You just swim in it sometimes.
And what are the online sources that you go to for news to put your reports together every day?
Okay, I usually go through E&E News, EXSKF, which is a Fukushima blog site. They've been covering the disaster since day one. The Japanese Atomic Information Forum. Let's see, Nuke News, and newsonjapan.com is a few of them. Of course, I've got bookmarked all the good sites. NRC event report page, that's usually interesting. That's where the Nuclear Regulatory Commission puts out their little reports on all the little things that go on in all the reactors here in the United States. Yeah, just try to keep on top. I just roll through, I don't know, dozen different websites, and what I miss, my subscribers usually throw at me, so I keep pretty informed. It's a community effort as far as trying to keep up with everything.
And that's something, too, that we had Kevin Blanche on last week, and he was really been promoting, like, the citizen journalist.
I watched Kevin.
And you had mentioned, too, a community in action. How do we get more people involved in making videos? And you had an idea, too, about how that could help increase
as far as the exposure, yeah. You got to understand, YouTube's a supercomputer. There's not a group of people sitting around going yes, no to these videos. So when you do a YouTube search for a subject, you know, if you get one or two stories, none of the alarm bells go off. But if you go to search a story and then you get 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 hits, different videos with basically the same titles on the same story, that will force people to start paying attention to go, oh, well, look at all of this, especially the news agencies and all the people that watch us. See what I'm saying? So they will have to bring that to the forefront on the mainstream news because it's so big on the internet. They have to address it. And even if it's just a silly little 30-second video saying, hey, here's this story, check this out, check this link out, and a basic what it's about, and leave it at that. And just to get the video numbers up and out and kind of let everybody know, hey, we're watching, we're paying attention. And we might get some things done that way. Maybe a lot more, you know, things will start moving if everybody just made a little video and posted the link up. And you can see some of my stuff. I am by far not the best anchorman on the planet. I stumble through my stuff constantly, but I do it basic and raw, and it's very easy and simple to do. And if you really want to help out us, start making videos. Just pop them up.
And put Fukushima in the title.
Yeah.
Or radiation.
Well, whatever the story happens to be when we're following. So if everybody's popping up, if you do for like the tornado in Japan that just happened. So, you know, people are start to search tornado Japan. So if those are in the titles of, you know, 1,000 videos, or, you know, Fukushima reactor number 4 or whatever, as the stories come out, we hit the stories out, and as long as and get it out there. So when they go to do a Google search, it'll be impossible to ignore us.
Yeah, that's a really good idea. And I got an email from somebody saying, you know, your tags that you use on your video, it's really like the first 3 are the main tags that go into the search engine. So you want to make sure that they're appropriate to help people find your
I tag kind of odd. I tag climate change, and then I'll tag global warming, and then I'll tag NibiruMagick2012, and then I'll put in all the other little tags. But as kind of a catch, because a lot of people doing studies on climate change, because that's the key phrase for the carbon tax scam. So when they're doing Google search, and they'll kind of happen to stumble across me, and that's kind of why I do it that way. But as far as titles go, make your do them anything. You know what I mean? Just get it out there. So no matter where you look, there it is. There's no getting away from it.
And there's free programs out there that you can download to make videos.
Or remix my videos. That's what the button's for. Please remix my videos. I don't care about view counts. I am not getting paid for this.
You know, I've never remixed anybody's video. Can you tell us exactly?
It's very simple. Underneath the video, you just hit the button remix, and it'll pop up to yours, and you can change the title if you want to. Hit submit, and poof, it's on your channel. It's got to download to your channel, of course, but it takes a few minutes. But it's very simple to do. Simple instructions to do to remix a video.
And Screencast-O-Matic is the free one until someone hooked me up with Camtasia a couple months ago. But I started out with the Screencast-O-Matic, which is free. It's pretty simple to use. I'm not sure if I believe it works on Macs and PCs.
I don't use screen capture for the copyright issues. You know what I mean? I'm just kind of avoid all that. That's why you see my ugly mug sitting there talking to you.
So
I've seen videos. Screen capture?
Yeah.
I don't.
No, I mean to tape you reading the news.
Oh, I use a camcorder, and I All my videos are raw. I do not edit them. They're one take, one shot. There it is. Simple.
And I've seen you down a couple shots once in a while when the news is real bad.
Yeah, I'll give you a toast. Here it comes, folks.
You have a great tagline, too. Well, a
Enjoy
couple
it
of
like
them. Yeah. And you can't stop the truth from leaking out of Fukushima.
Yeah. Japan is a radioactive tea bag seeping into the Pacific Ocean. And we all, everybody here listening, has to deal with it. There really is no way around it. And we have to address this issue. We really do. It's that important. I can't stress it enough.
I got a great phone call yesterday from somebody I spent a few hours on the phone with. I'm going to tell you guys about that when we come back. You're listening to Nuked Radio.
I got your picture of me and you.
And welcome back to Nuked Radio. And we were just talking about community action things and how you can get involved. I got an email yesterday from a physician in Chicago who had read the article about Reactor 4 and said she was a freaked out Chicago resident and police call her immediately. So I did. I ended up being on the phone with this lady for a couple hours. She was a practicing physician until a few years ago when she decided to become a full-time activist. And she's actually very involved with the Occupy movement. But she now wants to make Fukushima Reactor 4 her primary target of concern. And before her and I spoke yesterday, she had already talked on the phone to Arnie Gunderson and a bunch of other people. I gave her some names of people I thought she would also want to contact. She's going to be approaching this with a physician's perspective and try to reach out and not only get some of the up-to-date excess mortality info that we need from the U.S. and Canada, especially, because we've had some numbers that have been thrown around recently that I'm having some difficulty verifying through multiple sources. She's going to work on that, and she's also going to be contacting the governors in every state. And the slogan of her campaign is going to be, "We can't vote for you if we're dead." Her name is Dr. Laura, and she will hopefully be coming on in a couple weeks to tell us about what she's accomplished and where we go from there. Magic, I seem to recall you also being part or taking part in some of the Occupy movement in your area in Des Moines.
Yes, I did go down and spend a day with the Des Moines Occupy movement.
Are you still doing work with that too?
No, actually, my battlefront is here on YouTube, promoting the Fukushima as far as going down and protesting and camping out all night and stuff. No, I just don't have the time or the resources to do something like that.
Yeah. When you did go down there, did you talk to anybody about Fukushima?
Oh, this was no. We were talking, it was more in line with the Occupy movement. It's more for the economic stuff. Their major concerns are the economy and the banker stuff and just a political movement more than an environmental movement. But yeah, I was going to...
Are things with that movement kind of ramping up there again, or is Des Moines kind of quieted down?
They're not camping again, but they're still out there. Their big time here was during the Iowa caucuses. That's when they had their big show. And then after the caucuses left, of course, the eye of attention moved away. And there's still a core group of protesters that come and protest regularly and stuff. But the movement isn't huge yet, but the weather's just now starting to get nice. I suppose I should get a hold of some of those people that I know.
Have you come across any more information at all about the Chicago NATO summit and some of the evacuation plans that were being practiced by FEMA and DHS. Do you think that that's just going to, a routine part of them getting ready for a big meeting in a big city, or are they trying to give us a heads up, or is this
I think they're trying to
think?
justify their overinflated budgets. And the best way to protest the Chicago NATO summit is not to show up and let them spend all that money for nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they're looking for a fight, and we'll see what happens on the 20th. It's all a political puppet game, you know what I mean? It's who knows? I try to stay out of the political stuff.
Yeah.
It just gets me going too much and too many different opinions. Yeah. I don't fall into the two-party system. I again, watch the video Walking the Walk. It kind of explains my whole outlook across the board.
And what is the name of your YouTube channel? Because I think you have 2012 in there too, so people can find you easily.
Yeah, it's NibiruMagick2012, NibiruMagick 2012.
And you're an artist by trade?
I'm a retired tattoo artist, sculptor. Yeah.
And I know you have lots of animals because I see them in your videos.
Yeah, like
background.
I got 2 dogs and a cat, and probably a couple hundred birds that visit my feeder. A gang of red squirrels and a raccoon that like to feed on my feeders.
Nice. I noticed too that you're when you're cooking outside, you're always cooking meat, and I wanted to remind you that it's good to eat lower on the food chain.
Well, I eat my share of raw vegetables. I simply devour. No, I do the smoker videos kind of as a joke to a couple of my friends, kind of as an inside joke. It started off at like when I smoked a chocolate cake with bacon, and yeah, kind of teasing my friends. Looks what's for dinner, kind of thing.
And you also used to do weather shares. I don't think I've seen any from you recently.
Yeah, the weather shares really didn't take off. I mean, as far as the hits on the actual videos, it would be 100, 150, and it just became time consuming. I am cutting corners to do the climate change update. I get really busy in my personal life, and just trying to do the research and keep up. So it's all pretty much I can do just to keep the climate change update going on the channel, and a few silly artsy videos now and again, like I'll do the moon shots or the big thunderstorm comes through, that kind of thing.
And have you had a chance yet to go out and look for mutations in your area?
Actually, you do have me out looking at the dandelions. Everywhere I go, I'm looking for the mutations. What I need to do is I need to go back down to the river and take a serious look at the fauna down there, because that's where the radiation's going to accumulate in your areas, the river basins and the ponds and streams and stuff, of course, where the water flows and drains away. So if there's any high concentrations, my guess it would be close to there. So I might go down there and check it out and see if I can find anything.
Yeah, I seem to be finding the majority of them in low-lying areas, and they also seem to occur in clusters where you can be walking for 20 or 30 or 40 feet, everything looks normal, and then all of a sudden you come up upon 4 or 5 plants that are all grouped together.
Yeah, you got a hot spot.
Yeah.
It's not like it all falls in one place. It's like a shotgun blast. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Scatters every little bit. Yeah, exactly.
Well, I've had just over the weekend images that were sent to me from Sweden, some images from Michigan that are of some extremely large clover plants, and not only 4-leaf clovers, but 5 and 6 leaves. And so we've been uploading all those to Mutation Watch on Facebook and also to Tumblr, and then I'm putting them in folders also but the Tumblr site, anyone will be able to go and pull images off of there and either repost them or use them, like, if you're doing grad studies or any kind of research and you need documentation
Go ahead.
early fruits and vegetables, not much. Some of them from last summer. I'm kind of surprised with how early the season is that we're already seeing so much of it.
Did Believers Underground send you that video of the rose stems?
Yeah.
In California?
A really thick stem. It had
flat. Yeah, that was like no rose stem I've ever seen. And I've done landscaping too for a while.
I saw a couple of research articles that were posted that I put on Mutation Watch a few days ago, where they subjected plants to gamma radiation. And what they found was not only thickness of the stems, enormous growth of the plant, and multiple heads in some cases, but also the color of the plant changing, not only the leaves but the flowers. And in some cases, half the plant was one color and half of it was another color, or the actual bud itself is cut in half. And I've got some pictures of that, of some carnations that happened to, and oranges in Japan, where the orange is actually half green and half orange right down the middle, and the flower was pink on one side and white on the other. So those are some changes that we might see also as the season goes along. Feel free to send me any images that you get from your area, because I don't have any from Iowa yet.
Okay. Yeah, if I find anything, I'm not afraid to put it up there.
I also got some interesting information from a lady who was taking part in a chicken hatch right before Easter, and there was a decrease in the hatch rates of about 40% in some parts of the country. It was significantly higher. The foothills area north of Sacramento, another area which had significant low hatch rates, was the top of Ohio, bottom eastern part of Michigan, and the east side of Indiana. She also had some information about hatch rates in Kansas and western Missouri. She's going to be putting that into kind of like a little mini research paper for us. Thanks for joining us today. Thank you, Magic, for coming on. Thank you, Jules.
It's my pleasure.
We'll be back on Thursday. Stay safe, everyone.